So I've been packing foam around the airbox on the Challenger. I got this, this is after I've cut it quite a bit. I got a 12 by 12 block of this acoustic foam and just cut it into pieces in order to close off the gaps to stale air. As you can see down in here, what I've done is I've taped up some of the areas where they could be taped, and I've put foam in other areas where you couldn't get tape in there. So there's tape right there because hot air from the engine can go in through here and right into the filter. So I blocked that off. Turns out that it can come around the corner here from back in this area. So I put some foam in there to block that. And back here, there's a few gaps that I blocked with foam to block the air from coming around the corner here and going into the box. And even up here beside the headlight, if you shine light down in this hole here, you can see where the light's coming out up here, and it can actually come through here and get some warm air through here back in this area too. So put some foam in there, and now it's completely sealed off. The only thing that's open to air is the back air duct there and the front air duct right there. So now when you look around in here, it's sealed from warm air. As you can see, there's the, hopefully you can see that. I can't tell where the phone is tilted. The area right there is where I taped up. And if I didn't tape that, it would go straight from here over to the engine to get hot air from there. So now it's all sealed up, and the only places that air can come through are the Hellcat eye right there going into the side of the Hellcat intake box, and from down here through that lower brake duct in the back and the brake duct in the front there. Now, as an added benefit, if you're driving down the road and there's a lot of air coming through those two ducts and there's too much for the intake to use, it'll just go straight through and back and still cool the brakes. So I think that's a pretty good setup here. But this took quite a while to do this. It looks like a lot, and it is a lot, because there's a lot that you have to block off in order to block the warm air from the radiator. This panel right here, this panel here blocks the air from going straight to the side of the radiator. And honestly, now that I've done this down here and blocked that off, I don't even need that panel anymore, because if air can't get through this foam area here to get into there, then there's no reason to block that off. But I had done that earlier, so I guess I'll just leave that on there because it's not hurting anything. When everything's put back together, you can't really see any of that, so it looks a bit messy here, but it does the job. It blocks off all the areas to warm, stale air from the engine compartment here, from going through, down through this metal and into this area. So that's about it. I'm going to put everything back together and get some intake temperature readings. Okay, with everything finished up here, as you can see, you can't see any of the work that was done with the foam because that's all under this area right here, under this panel. And the foam is so far toward the outside of the car, a lot of it's up against the front fender here, and some of it's down behind the headlight, and a few pieces down below the airbox, that it's far enough away from intense heat that I'm not worried about any melting or anything like that. But closing off those areas obviously doesn't have any real visual effect because it's covered by this panel. So it actually works out pretty well.